Good evening. When I was asked to come here tonight, I was very moved, and I felt very honored. And then I thought, I'm never going to be able to get to Washington. I'm so busy sleuthing, I'll never get enough time off from work. And then I said to myself, damn it all, I'm going to move heaven and earth to get there, because Bette Davis was so important to me as a young actress. At the age of 17, starting out in Gaslight, she was my inspiration. Her performance as Mildred in A Human Bondage was my reference point. I never dreamed, honestly, that 25 years later, filming Death on the Nile in Egypt, that I would be sharing a dressing room with Bette Davis. But what a dressing room it was. It was a tiny, remember this, Betty? It was a tiny 2-bunk cabin on an old, rusty, creaky river steamer. And 4 of us, Betty and I, Maggie Smith, and Mia Farrow, and the wardrobe lady were all jammed into this tiny little cabin. 2 of the actresses had to lie on the bunks while one stood up against the wall, and then the other was dressed by the wardrobe lady. Well, Betty, at this point, was lying on the bunk. I noticed out of the corner of my eye this slight look of impatience, and I thought, oh, my goodness, you know. Ooh, is she going to raise hell? This is going to be Death on the Nile. Not a bit of it, not a bit of it. Her consummate professionalism came to the fore, and her wry sense of humor, and she poured her patience and her indomitability and her towering talent into the role, as she always has done. Betty has always said, I am a character actress. Can we ever forget the ashen face of Mrs. Skeffington, or those pathetic eyebrows in the early stages of Now Voyager? Or how many of us would be willing to shave our heads to play Queen Elizabeth? Of course, I'd be willing to cut my legs off to the knee to play opposite Errol Flynn, but that's another story. The movies that she made were so memorable, so startlingly individual, so Bette Davis. And just when we think maybe her brilliant career is slowing down, not a bit. She comes along with the Whales of August and sets us all on our heel again. In her home, Betty has a pillow, and with it, the embroidery says, old age is not for sissies. For Bette Davis, youth, middle age, no time of life is a place for sissies. She is an original. There has never been anyone before or since who could touch her.